Welcome, friends. Hey, this is Rich with Remedy Hypnotherapy, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit today about the conscious mind. So, a question that I often get is, hey, Rich, what is the conscious mind? Well, the conscious mind is a part of the brain. There's 2 to 3 parts that we categorize in the psychological field, but the conscious mind is one of those parts. And the conscious mind, it's a very actually limited part, but with a great amount of potential. I like to call the conscious mind the doorway, so like the gatekeeper. And what it is it's the part of the mind, about 15% of the actual mind, that allows or disallows messages to get into subconscious and smaller storage area. So an example is, if you have a salesman who comes to your door and is knocking on your door and has something to sell, and they're like, hey, I have this rock, and this rock, yeah, I picked it up off the street one day, but it's a really lucky rock. And you're like, okay. And they're like, yeah, I'd like to sell you this rock for about $200,000. You might just shut your door on this guy's face, the salesman. And the reason is you think to yourself, there's no way on earth that anything that he's selling that's a rock or you find on the street is probably going to be worth $200,000. And not that you would have it, but your mind automatically lifted up the gates, it closed everything down, and it blocked him out. It wanted nothing to do with him, and it realized that he was probably a time waster. And that's good, our conscious mind does that. But when we were younger, or when we were kids, or sometimes even as adults, sometimes we don't know what to let in, and sometimes we don't know what to block out. And sometimes when we got a bad message, maybe when you're a kid, somebody told you, oh, you're the worst kid ever. Or maybe they said, everything on your plate, you have to finish it even if you're full. We let that into our mind and we locked it. It got past our gates and we made it into the subconscious. Well, our conscious mind at that time didn't do a good job, or did the best it could off of what we knew, and it let the suggestion in, or let the belief past. And normally the conscious mind is in that form the gatekeeper.